A Pontotoc County man is going back to prison to serve the remaining 15 years of a sentence after violating his probation. A circuit court judge making that ruling today.
Lewis Winston Scott was recently arrested for impersonating a police officer and sexual assault. Allie Martin has more.
During the 90-minute revocation hearing, 44-year-old Lewis Winston Scott sat by himself, arms and legs shackled, as investigators from the Lee and Union County Sheriff's Departments presented their evidence. Back in 2000, Scott was sentenced to 30 years in prison with 15 suspended for kidnapping and 2 counts of sexual battery. He was on probation when authorities say he downloaded a free cell phone app that flashed alternating red and blue lights. He's accused of using that app to stop a woman just north of Tupelo around 1:40 in the morning on August 26th. That victim became suspicious, and when she saw the suspect with a knife, she sped off and called 911. A short time later, Scott is accused of using the Police Lights app to stop a second victim on I-22 just west of Blue Springs. In that case, he is accused of forcing the victim into his car, driving her to a remote area of Union County, and sexually assaulting her. He drove her back to her car and released her. Judge Paul Funderburk ruled there was sufficient probable cause to find Scott had violated his probation.
This individual will be placed back in the state penitentiary. Not only will he have to serve the 15 years, but it's a day-for-day sentence where he cannot get out early, he cannot get out on probation or parole.
While he's pleased Scott's probation was revoked, Sheriff Johnson wonders why the convicted sex offender wasn't locked up earlier this year. In February, Lewis Winston Scott pleaded guilty in Pontotoc Justice Court to misdemeanor charges of domestic violence, and he also pleaded guilty to 2 counts of obstructing access to an emergency vehicle. Those are violations of his probation, but Scott was still out on the streets.
I mean, we deal with it every day. There are hundreds of people that are on probation and parole and early release, coming up with this theory that we're saving money for the taxpayers and not having to incarcerate them. But look at the danger that you're putting the citizens of our community in by these individuals being out.
Scott is now in custody of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. He still faces an attempted kidnapping charge in Lee County, along with 3 counts of sexual battery, 1 count of attempted armed robbery, and kidnapping in Union County. He will have to come back to face those charges. In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
An MDOC spokesperson says the agency is reviewing the case.